So hi, my name is Kathy Zhang, and I'm a BHA student studying art and environmental and sustainability studies. Today I'll be talking about my BXA senior capstone, which is a website I made called Entropy Catalog. And before I get started, I would like to thank my advisor, Dr. Abigail Owen, for supporting me through this project and for being such an amazing mentor throughout my undergraduate career at CMU. And this project was also supported in part by funding from the Carnegie Mellon University Frank-Ratchye Fund for Art at the Frontier. So my capstone project documents the type of products offered to students in Carnegie Mellon's on-campus convenience store, Entropy. But it's ultimately a call to action for Carnegie Mellon University, and I'll be going over what that letter entails for this presentation. So sustainability and waste management are often approached within a framework of individualized responsibility, where more passive actions like recycling are emphasized instead of addressing the root issue of waste production. And over the summer of fall of 2020, I researched this issue and asked, how did we get to this point of maximum trash, and what could be done to improve the cultural relationship between the producer consumer and the endless stream of trash in my research paper, which is called Convenience and Waste, a critical study of sustainability of opportunities for CMU's campus. And through this research, I found that in order to establish a more sustainable waste management system, producers must recognize and act upon their responsibility in minimizing the amount of waste their products create rather than promoting the individualization of responsibility. And I studied the social, cultural, and political systems surrounding waste management because I wanted to identify how waste management practices at CMU could be improved to maximize sustainability. And I concluded that CMU plays into this individualization of responsibility by fostering a campus which makes it difficult for students to live sustainably while also pushing initiatives that depend on student choices. And I argue in my paper that one fundamental way the university could live up to their commitment to sustainability is through the creation of an office of sustainability. And this semester I applied my research to Entropy and combined my findings with my experience within sustainability at CMU as the housing sustainability lead and advocacy chair for Sustainable Earth to write this letter to CMU. And I chose to focus on Entropy because of its convenience for students. It offers a variety of necessary items and is easily accessible, being located right in the middle of campus. So this website features a general layout of the convenience store, and as the viewer stays on the home page, products in the store or products of the store sells begins to crowd the screen and transform into trash. And there's an overwhelming amount of plastic packaging on the products offered to students by the store. I noticed that the only products which didn't contain any packaging were some selections of pretty expensive fruit. And the companies which supply Entropy are also mostly large corporations, which are largely to blame for the amount of waste produced today. And this can be found in the catalog section, which is it's just a list of the products that the store sells. It's a pretty long list, but yeah, I think the most important aspect of this website is my letter to CMU. Like most universities, CMU often touts its commitment to sustainability and paints itself as a leader in the field. But as a student who has been active in my efforts to make the campus a more sustainable place, I've had a drastically different experience than the one CMU advertises. Responsibility for waste, for sustainability is often pushed onto the shoulders of students, the same students who don't have the time or resources to make substantial systemic change at the university. And this is something I've seen happen again and again within the university's primary environmental sustainability club, Sustainable Earth. Being the only campus organization focused on environmental sustainability, the club covers a wide range of topics and projects. And while the club has many dedicated members, it's stretched pretty thin. And because of the lack of university resources, the club often becomes a sustainability hub people go to in search of those resources. So for example, students from the club have stood by trash cans in CMU's University Center to direct others on how to sort their trash as requested by the university. And while Sustainable Earth enjoys helping out fellow students and providing information when the university begins coming to the club in search of volunteers to do work that should be paid for. That clear lack of commitment for sustainability from CMU is emphasized. And my membership in the club also led me to find my housing sustainability position, which was mostly centered around improving waste management practices across the university's residential facilities. While working in the position, I felt extremely passionate about the projects we pursued. And I worked closely with 3 other student staff members and created educational posters and presentations for the students. We also tabled in dorms and even dug through trash by hand for trash audits. Most initiatives were education-based, so like teaching other students how to recycle and live sustainably while living on campus. And looking back and reflecting on our initiatives, what the housing sustainability assistants could work on was very superficial. Even when I became more involved at a higher level after being promoted to the housing sustainability lead, it was difficult to make more systemic changes within waste management. And the projects my team could work on really only address symptoms of a bad waste management system rather than tackling the problem of waste management or waste production itself. We didn't have the authority or funding to fundamentally change how CMU approached sustainability. And I feel like I spent a lot of time and effort, which ultimately led to unremarkable changes. The sustainability initiatives CMU does work on are very similar to what I also worked on within housing, in that they focus on fixing the symptoms of a bad waste management system rather than the problem itself. The language CMU uses online and on posters suggests that waste creation and disposal are still responsibilities of the individual because of their emphasis on recycling. CMU's recycling and waste management website page shows how to dispose of waste at the university, with one section even dedicated to a list of vague reasons why recycling is important, which includes to reduce global warming, to prevent air pollution, to solve the problem of scarcity of landfills, etc. And this language emphasizes that the university's waste management system continues to work off the framework that the individual is responsible for consuming and therefore discarding trash. And this strategy fails to criticize the larger issue of production within waste management systems. If anything, I feel like the opposite has been stressed to students as the university's priority. For example, during Sustainable Earth's monthly meetings with CMU's Sustainability Initiative Steering Committee, a member of the committee said that he would like to focus on not what the university should be doing, but what students individually should be doing. This fixation on recycling and individual responsibility draws attention to either a lack of understanding about sustainability or a lack of commitment towards sustainability, which could both be addressed through a group of passionate, knowledgeable people in the form of an office of sustainability. And I believe the office has failed to live up to its commitment to lead by example in preserving and protecting our natural resources through its refusal to create this office. I've met with the steering committee I mentioned, which was created by Provost Jim Garrett in response to demands to create an office. And I've met with them to further talk about creating an office. And each time I've come away disappointed and frustrated. Over the past few years, CMU's president and provost have received an onslaught of recommendations to create this office. These requests have come from a group of students who researched creating an office, the Graduate Student Assembly, the Undergraduate Student Senate, the Faculty Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Sustainability at CMU, which also wrote a 15-page report supporting such an office. More than 300 students and alumni who signed a petition, and Sustainable Earth through our meetings, and also a letter that we wrote. Rather than creating this office, the university instead adopted a sustainability initiative, which focuses on the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, and the initiative holds very little in concrete action. With the exception of one person, leadership within the initiative are not individuals solely focused on sustainability at the university, but rather include faculty and staff already involved at the sustainability in other manners. Entropy is a significant part of most students' lives at CMU. It is important that it reflects the university's claims of sustainability in the products they offer, how they treat their staff, and pricing. Ultimately, the issues at Entropy are only one aspect of CMU's broken approach on sustainability. These issues affect the university everywhere and at every level. And instead of all of these student-led efforts, there's a serious need for coordinated and targeted work with the full attention of the university brought to these issues. Based on sustainability being listed as one of CMU's 8 core university values, the university clearly recognizes the importance of sustainability, yet it refuses to even create an office for it. CMU must start living up to its own promises and create a centralized office for sustainability with full-time staff, administration, and a budget. And I hope this website and small animation of sorts highlights the lack of an office as a major issue within the university, and Entropy as a symptom of that, and helps redirect university administration toward better decisions and a more sustainable and just campus in the future.
Thank you, Kathy. That was fantastic. A little disheartening, not because of you, but because, you know, hearing what your path has been in pursuing this and really being dedicated to making change that does something, right? I'm really struck by how carefully you attended to the rhetoric of sustainability that the university puts out, and that other, you know, institutions put out around this, and how much that focus on the individual does hide a whole lot of other possibilities and necessary changes that have to happen there. So I think your reading of that is really important and really needs to continue to be highlighted, right? That when you see that kind of language, to think about what's hiding behind that language, what's not being done, and instead what's being proposed as not systemic change, but individual change. And I think you're also really have hit on an important reason why universities need to lead this, right? Because this is something that by establishing these norms around sustainability, not only, you know, are universities big places that make a lot of trash and use a lot of resources, but the people who are attending that will carry those values and beliefs and possibilities into the future. Yeah, really interesting. Yeah, and to have a call to action at the end of a presentation, the capstone is always great. So let's all continue leaning on the university to make this happen. Thanks, Kathy. Anything that you want to leave us with?
Oh, the Sustainability Initiative actually has a form you can fill out on its website, and I think it'd be cool if everyone like filled it out asking for an office.
Yes, could you send that to me and I will find a place to put it? Awesome. Thank you very much.